tonight, so I decided to come on early because I'm super excited about what I'm going to be showing you tonight. But while we're waiting for everybody to get on, I'm going to go over some what I call housekeeping, and then we'll get started. So first off, this is all of my contact information. So if you need to place an order, if you need to email me, if you want to check out my Pinterest, you're on Facebook. The only thing that's a little bit different is my YouTube channel. You have to put JulieBrown.Julie's Creative Stamping. Now, with all of the changes going on with social media, I can usually multi-stream to both Facebook and YouTube, but it's not letting me do that tonight. So if you are watching this on YouTube, it will be a replay, or it will be uploaded after this live. So not sure what's going on. Like I said, it seems like every day there's a new change. So not really sure what's going on there. All right. One other thing that is coming up. So we always have really great join offers. And coming up starting May 1st, if you join my team, this is the starter kit that you can get. So basically, normally it's you spend $99 and you get $125 worth of product for that $99. But Stampin' Up! For May is throwing in all of these in color pieces. These are the new in colors for the new catalog that's coming live or starting in May. And so you're you're going to get the stamp pads, you're going to get the cardstock, you're going to get the markers, and you're going to get the designer series paper. An $82 value. So basically, you're going to be spending $99 to join, and you're going to get $207 worth of products. Now, a lot of people ask me or say, you know, I would really love to get the 20% discount for joining, but I don't want to teach classes. And that's fine. You don't have to teach classes. You can join, and then you'll get all the information on what your minimums are for each month so that you can stay as a demonstrator and get that 20% off. So if you're interested in that, just reach out to me at one of these right here. Sorry, let me get rid of this one. So just contact me, probably best to email me at Julie's Creative Stampin' without the G at gmail.com. So yeah, if that's something that you think you might be interested in, but you would like a little bit more information, then great, just let me know. Okay, so now let's look at what we're going to be doing tonight. So we're going to be working with sketches, but I wanted to show you what I'm using. So I'm actually using from the mini catalog, and I don't think you can buy it as a suite anymore because some of the stuff is no longer available, but it was on page 40 and 41. It's the Nature Sweetness. This was a mega suite because it came with both of these bundles, the Notes of Natures and the Lovely and Sweet, plus the designer series paper, plus this gold fall feather trim, plus these cork adhesive backgrounds. I'm pretty sure some of this stuff is not available anymore. That's why, because I put the suite number in and it wasn't available. So I'm guessing probably maybe the trim, because I know the paper is available. I know both bundles are still available, so it's got to be one of these two things. Anyway, that is what I'm going to be using tonight. Now, another note is the half of this suite, the paper is carrying over, the Lovely and Sweet bundle is carrying over, but this Note of Nature's bundle is not carrying over. So it is still available to buy as a bundle right now until the end of this month. So if you decide this is something you want, you might want to jump in and get that. I'm going to pop up the number for the Notes of Nature. Again, this is the one that's retiring, so it is not carrying forward to the new catalog. So if this is something that you want, you might want to do it before May 1st. And then the other bundle is the Lovely and Sweet bundle. And that's this one right here. But I'm using both of them. All right, let's talk sketches. Okay. So in the new catalog, Stampin' Up! Has put a bunch of little itty bitty tiny sketches. And so what I did is I went onto Canva and I reproduced it with the measurements. But this is what a sketch is. A sketch is basically just an idea. It is something that it gives you kind of, sometimes you'll see sketches and it doesn't have any measurements. Sometimes you'll see sketches and it actually has kind of, it's not really pictures, but drawings to kind of say, oh, like you could use a butterfly here or this here. So there's a ton of different sketches. Now, tomorrow on this site, Julie's Creative Stampin' Facebook page, I am going to be putting a post up that has, I think it's 3 different places that you can go to get free sketches. So after tonight, if this is something that you like, then make sure you go to one of those sites and you can start downloading your own sketches. This one I made on Canva out of the Stampin' Up! On page 22. Right at the very bottom, they're little itty bitty, but they have a bunch of idea sketches for you to use your product with. For those of you that don't have Stampin' Up! Products and you're watching me, not a problem. You can use whatever you have at home to design these. And I hope you guys will. I hope you guys will take a chance at designing a sketch. So with this in mind, I'm going to try to keep this in the camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. Now, there are a couple things. I tried to get everything prepped ahead of time, but there was just a couple of techniques that I haven't used in a while, and I wanted to show you. So this is the stamp from the Lovely and Sweet, and I I used the watercolor pencils, and so I've colored everything but this last one because I just want to show you how I did it. And let me just bring this in a little bit so you can see it better. So basically I just came in and I made these lines that are already there dark, and I am using an Old Olive watercolor pencil, and I'm just drawing in the lines. So just so you guys know, I'm not doing a lot of stamping. I've done most of that stuff has been done ahead of time because I'm focusing on sketches tonight, because my hope is to teach you guys how to see sketches, find sketches, and use sketches. Because I know you guys have all bought products. If you're like me, you've got a ton of designer series paper. This is our blender pen. And so you can see I just kind of scribbled that color in there. But what's cool about this blender pen is that it smooths it all out so it looks really nice and pretty. Okay, so that's the only technique I wanted to show you on this one. Now, these blender pens do come in a container of 3, so you get 3 in a container, and they are, if you're interested, the number is 102845. All right, so let's bring it back out. I am going to die cut this out. Like I said, everything else has pretty much been prepped ahead of time, but we're just going to come in and I'm going to die cut this out, and then I'm going to show you how by using this sketch we are going to design a card. I love using sketches because it is just kind of shapes and lines, and to me it's almost kind of like a surprise, because as you start working on it and as you start designing and building it, even I'm surprised sometimes how they come out. It's just, they're a lot of fun, and it's just a really good idea, or a good way to come up with some ideas, especially if you're struggling with ideas on how to design or create. So if you've never created by yourself, they're great to get you started. If you have created and you're having a creative block, these sketches can really be helpful to getting everything moving. All right. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys, so if you're on with me live, if you've never been on with me before, you can actually ask questions in the comments. So you can actually type in comments, let me know you're here. And I'm not expecting a lot of people to be on because I am an hour early tonight, but if you do get on, let me know you're here. And then if you have any questions about anything I'm showing you, just make sure you type them in. Also, if you're watching this as a replay, you can type in any questions later. They do come up on my Facebook feed, and I will try to answer them. Okay, so this sketch is based on this piece here. This outline border is 4 by 5 1/4. I designed this one. I didn't design it. I copied it out of the Stampin' Up! On page 22, but I figured out all the measurements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a piece of basic white. And then, again, I told you guys I did a lot of this ahead of time. So this is just some of that designer series paper. And I just cut it by 2 1/4 by 4 1/2. And then I just made my little banner out of that. So we're just going to place this, and we're going to place it exactly how the sketch has it. Hey, Cindy, I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so all I'm doing is following this sketch. Now, as you can imagine, depending on what you use, you could do this exact same layout, use completely different designer series paper and stamps, and you're going to get a completely different look, believe it or not. Okay, so I am going to come in and I am just going to lay this down like so. Okay, just like it is right here. Okay, step 1. Okay, the next one is, as you can see, so this was our bottom layer. Now I'm working on the middle layer. Hey, Janet, I'm glad you guys are here. Okay, so this piece is 3 by 2 3/4. And again, I'm just going to lay it just like it shows on here. I think this time I'll use the Stampin' Seal. Whoops. I had this shoved in a travel case and now it's all messed up. Oh, that broke. Okay, never mind. We'll be using, we're gonna just go ahead and use liquid glue tonight. That works. Okay. All right, so now I do try to kind of look at where the corners are and try to get it as close as I can, but you know, sometimes you might be a little bit off on the banner. That's okay. But you're just going to try to get this as close as you can to what this is supposed to look like. So it actually is supposed to come off this side a little bit more. Okay, so we're just going to lay that down like so. Okay, now, just to let you know, as you're doing these sketches, you can add things too, and that's what I'm going to do. So the next thing would be this piece. But I wanted to stamp this, and I wanted this to be on this section here. So now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to add this to this card. But as you can see, I'm still following the sketch. I'm just adding something to this piece right here. I've got 3 cards to show you tonight, and hopefully I can get through all 3 of them. Like I said, I'm not doing stamping. I'll tell you the techniques that I use. Like this one, I told you I use the watercolor pencils and then the blender pen. But my purpose tonight is to really work with you guys on sketches and how fun they can be. Okay, so that's going to lay down like so. And then what I did, so it has this piece here. So instead of doing this exact size, I took these dies and I cut out this label, and here it is. Okay, so it's all about, I just need my label die. And I did heat emboss this with Versamark and then white embossing powder, and then I heated it up with the heat tool. So now I'm just going to put this on this page that I'm working on. And again, like as far as the sketches don't always, they don't really show you like about embellishments and things like that. So any embellishments that you want to add, you would add that later. Okay, so I'm going to try to get this here. Try to get this straight. Okay, I got to kind of pick it up just so I can see. Okay, so can you guys see it? Banner. Here's this piece. I added a piece, and then here's this piece. So I have followed the sketch. Now I'm going to put this on the card front, and then I'm going to add a little piece of that gold fall leather trim that came with this suite, just to finish off this sketch. All right, so let's, again, I'm just using liquid glue tonight because I was afraid of that. I couldn't find the little cover. These come with a cover, and it's really good. You should store them with the cover, and I didn't, and I shoved this in a bag and this ripped. So that's on me. All right, so then this is Pebbled Path is the card base. So I'm just gonna stick that on there. And then for the inside, again, I just used one of the sentiments. So on the front, it says, "So sorry." And then this says, "Just sending a bit of love." And then I put this down here and I colored that as well with the pencils. And you can see I made a mistake on the back of this one. And you know what we always say, there's two sides to every piece of paper. Thank goodness, right? Okay, and for those of you that are like, hey, I would really like the PDFs for how you put this together, I am going to make PDFs. They will include the sketches, a picture of the sketch. And again, if you're part of my team, you get that, another reason to join. You're going to get that PDF for free. If you're not part of my team, but you do place a $35 order, you'll get all 3 PDFs from tonight. Okay, what do you guys think? Can you see it? Card 1 done. Banner, square, rectangle. And then I added a little flare. Right? These are super easy, guys. Okay, so I'm going to move this one. Get that out of the way. And then we're going to bring in our next one that we're going to work with. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, Michelle, you're here. Yay! Okay, so here's our next sketch. All right, now this one has a few more things to it, right? So again, the outside square is the 4 by 5 1/4 mat, or, you know, I call them mats because that's usually what I put on the card front. And then we have a 2.5 inch circle, 2.5 inch circle, an approximate 3/4 by 2.5 inch strip. So let's look how I'm gonna put this one together. Oh, shoot. Let me bring that. I'm sorry, I forgot to put one thing on that last card. I knew I was forgetting something. I told you guys I was going to put a little piece of trim. Sorry, I'm going to put a glue dot there. And then here's that gold fa. Sorry. So see, that got put down there. Okay, now onto this sketch. Are you guys enjoying sketching so far? You know, I know a lot of times when you first start with sketches, you look at them and you're like, what the heck? Now, if they don't have, I put the dimensions on mine. If they don't have dimensions, you can still kind of look at the sketch and kind of figure out, you know, play with different pieces of paper and see like how it's going to fit on there. Okay, so let's bring in my 4. Okay, so here's my 4 by 5 1/4 piece. And so the first thing I need to put is this rectangle that's under here that is 2 3/4 by 4. And again, guys, I'm using the Nature Sweetness Designer Series paper. One side is gold and really shiny and pretty. And then the other side is a matte side. Okay, and as you can see, you're looking and you can see that it has a wider berth here and wider over here, and it's closer to the edge here. So that's how I'm going to stick that on here. I have been wanting to teach sketching using sketches for a long time, and I just haven't done it. So I'm actually pretty excited about this class tonight because I've been wanting to do it for so long. Okay. So I'm sorry if you guys hear talking, that's my family here. So just want to let you know if you hear other people talking, that's what it is. Okay, so here's this. So then what I did is I took the Designer Series paper. Whoops. Oh my gosh, where's my other piece? Did I already lose a piece? Okay, so I should have pulled out the Designer Series paper, but what I did was I brought in my 2.5-inch circle punch so that I could get my 2.5-inch circles. And then again, this shows you the shiny side. So I just cut out a 2.5-inch circle, and then I colored, this was all like white, and I colored in with blends. Now I do want to give you guys a little heads up. Anytime there is like a metallic on the back, when you use your blends, they will bleed a little bit. So when you're coloring, let's say this is my blend pen, I don't go all the way to the edge. I just kind of bring it in and color it. And then for these little tiny stems, I actually brought in the Lost Lagoon marker to do them so that they wouldn't bleed. But for some reason, when there's metallic on the back and you try to color, it can bleed. Okay, so again, I cut these out, and so I'm going to follow this because this is my next one that's supposed to go on. Okay, so now I am doing this with my liquid glue. Okay, and so this is going to be up here, and see how it kind of comes off this edge over here? So it is kind of flush to the top edge, and this is if you want to do it exact. You guys don't have to follow it exact. This is just ideas, and if you didn't want circles, you could put squares here, right? If you had a big like paper flower that you wanted to put there, you could put that there. So just understand, this is just an outline. It's just an idea, but you can change it up to make it fit you. And then this one, this was like a big flower that kind of came off. Again, I used that 2.5-inch circle punch and I colored that in. So now we're going to add this one because that's my next layer right here. Alrighty. And just so you guys know, this is number 21. So if you guys have a catalog, on the bottom of page 22, that first one was number 5. So like, let's say this is my catalog. There's a line of them here, a line of them here. So number 1 is the top left, and then I counted across, and then I finished counting from the bottom left across to the right. So this is sketch number 21 in the catalog. Okay, so now this, again, it's going to stick off a little bit on this side. See how it comes out of that? So that's going to lay down like so. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put this on the card front so that I can finish building. So let's do that. I can't wait for you guys to see the next one. It'll blow your mind. All right, so here we go. And we're just going to lay this down. But you guys see what I mean? That this outside line is this 4 by 5 1/4 mat. Okay. All right. And you have to watch on sketches because sometimes it'll take up that whole space. Okay. And there are some sketches that aren't 4 by 5 1/4. They might be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And so you have to kind of look at them and tell if they don't have that. Okay. So now I'm going to work on this piece. So what I did is I wanted to use some Lost Lagoon, but what I did was I stamped this really fun. It says, "Today is all about you. Happy birthday." And then I fussy cut this out. So I'm just going to glue that onto this mat. I'm trying to do this without completely and the color, sorry, Lost Lagoon Pecan Pie, and this is the new Bubble Bath Pink right there. Those are the blends that I used. Okay, so now what I want to do is, even though it doesn't show it, I'm trying to show you guys how, even though this is your basic sketch, we're going to add some embellishments. So I want to add this pink ribbon, and I'm going to use that with a glue dot. This is where you take it the next step. right? And you add, and again, if you wanted to bring in, you know, some pearls or some rhinestones, whatever you want, this is when you do it. Then we're going to take this piece, and that's going to go over the ribbon. So just because this is all the shapes it shows, remember, you can add embellishments, you can add ribbon, you can add whatever you want to add some pizzazz to your card. Now this shows, okay, look right here. This is my inside, this is this, and this shows that it's off of that just a little bit. And again, you don't have to follow this exactly, but if that's what you want to do when you first get used to using these, then by all means do so. So this is just going to go across right like that. And then for the inside, I put just sending a little bit of love. And then I put, this is actually from the Notes of Nature, this cute little flower down here. And so this is going to be the inside of the card. And guys, we're already done with 2 cards. I realized, yes, I did prep ahead of time, but just think, if you weren't coloring anything, you were just using designer series paper and sentiment stamps, how quick are these? Because there's some really pretty designer series paper out there that you could just cut those circles out. You wouldn't have to color. You wouldn't have to do anything. It already has everything that you need. All right, so there you go, guys. Card number 2. Do you see it? So here's our mat. Here's our back rectangle. Here's our first circle, our second circle, and then our sentiment. Do we like? Way cool, right? Way cool. Guys, we got 2 cards done. All right. Let's move on to the last card. Okay, this one was a little bit more complicated, only because there wasn't much to the sketch. So here's the sketch. Okay, so again, this is my 4 by 5 1/4, and then it just shows this 1 1/4 by 2, and then it shows these squiggly lines down here. So what are we doing with this? Well, I did this card I wanted to make pretty snazzy. So I'm just going to show you some things that I did ahead of time. So I used this Notes of Nature stamp set, and I used this stamp, and I stamped, you know, I did this one is full stamp, 2nd generation, 3rd generation, second, third. Okay. And then you'll also notice some sparkle. So I took this stamp, can you guys see that one? And I stamped it with Versamark, and then I put gold embossing on it. Pretty snazzy, huh? Okay, because just because this is all plain doesn't mean you have to leave it plain, right? Again, I'm just trying to get my basic design. So then what I did is I cut 3 of the sparkly gold metallic side, and I believe these are like 1 1/4 by like 4 1/2, so that it gives me some leeway. And I'm going to tear these. Now I'm going to talk to you about tearing, because depending on whether you want white to show or not, that's what direction you tear. So we're going to work with this one first. So I'm doing this tear right here. So it's about that far on this side, and then it goes up and it becomes bigger over here. So I am going to tear away from this. If I tear this way, it's going to leave a white edge. I do not want a white edge. So I start my tear, and then I'm just going to kind of turn it over so that it helps me to, you know, get the rest of it torn. And I'm going to show you real quick what I'm talking about. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see, but can you see that top white edge on this side? But on this side, no white edge, because I tore away from this paper. Now, this I can use for another paper, but see the edge on that? Because it's the opposite of this. Okay, so then I'm going to do this tear, and that's this one. So I'm starting wider over here, and then I'm coming smaller over here. Oh, hey, Joan. Glad you're here with me today from Washington State. Welcome. Okay, so again, I'm going to tear away, but I need it wider on this end. So I'm going to start wide, and then it gets smaller. So I'm going to turn it over because I don't want the other side to have that wide edge. And then I'm just going to make this smaller. Okay, so there's that piece. Okay, so now I'm working on this piece. So again, it is smaller on this side, wider on this side. So I'm going to start small here, and then it's just easier for me to turn it over because I'm tearing away. And then I need this to go wider. Okay, so then I'm just going to make this wide, like so. And then all these little scraps, these can be used on something else. Okay, so now we're going to start putting these pieces on our base. And again, 4 by 5 1/4, that's this outline. But I hope you guys are starting to see that even though it looks pretty plain, the more you add, like just by stamping all this in the background, it actually made this look, it kind of stepped it up a bit. So I'm just kind of doing a dry run just so I get where it needs to be. And then this is going to go here. And then this one is going to come in here. So do you see the design? Do you see my wide piece? My wide on this end to thin, and then my thin to wide. Do you guys see it? Okay, because that's the sketch. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and glue this one first. I'm going to bring in a silicone mat because there's going to be some hangover, and I don't want to get the paper that is underneath me. I don't want to get glue on that so that I'm sticking to everything. Now I am only putting glue down the middle of this, mainly because I already knew ahead of time that I was going to be sticking some stuff behind it. And so, so I'm going to get my left side flush, and then I'm just going to lay that down. So because I have glue over here, that's why I'm using my silicone mat, because I'm just going to end up trimming this side. Okay, so here's my next one. And I need that to be, and even if see how I kind of came a little low here, I can go ahead and angle this up because it's not going to make a difference. That's why I leave myself enough room on each side so that I can fiddle with it. Anytime you're working with torn paper, because, you know, it's not an exact science. You want to be able to leave yourself some leeway on both sides so that when you start laying this down, it all fits good. And then this one's going to come up like so. And I don't think I want that to be quite as high there. So again, I'm just going to fix that and tear some of that away to where I like it better. I bet you never thought this was going to look like this, right? That is what is so cool about these sketches. Okay, and then like you guys know, I have a pair of scissors that I use for I call them my glue scissors, because when I'm cutting glue, anything that has glue on it, these are the ones that I use. And then I end up cleaning them with like alcohol later. Okay, so we've got to trim that. And trim this side. Okay, are you guys seeing it? Do you see it? I've got all these pieces in place. Okay, let's move that silicone mat. Okay, so then what I did is I brought in the Note of Nature dies, and don't forget, these are going away. So if you guys decide that you really love these, make sure you get them before May 1st. And right now they are while supplies last because they're on, they're going to be gone. Okay. So now what I did is I just kind of went up and I kind of picked, whoops, without throwing that down. I kind of picked a leaf that I could kind of like turn. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one again. I think I'm going to bring in my smaller glue. This is the exact same glue. I just use a different container that has a smaller edge on the top. And I'm just putting dots. I'm not very heavy-handed with my glue. So we're going to take this and it's going to slip right behind there and down. Then I'm going to bring this one in. Remember how I told you I was gluing in the middle of those designer series paper? So again, guys, if you're not used to our lingo, a lot of times you'll hear us say DSP. That means designer series paper, which is the pretty paper, the paper that has a design on it. Then I'm going to take this one, and this one is going to go behind here and lay down. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this on my card front, which is going to be a thick basic white so that I can finish building. So again, I'm just taking some liquid glue. So how many of you on here have worked with sketches before? Anybody? So if you've worked with sketches, put a yes, I've done it in the comments. All right, so now I can start kind of, you guys know the way I do this is everything that's going to be flat, I put on my mat, then I put it on my card front. Then I start building, this is where I start bringing in dimension. Okay, now what I did, oh, don't tell me I've lost one. These are kind of hard to see, but I went ahead, these are the little flowers in that stamp set, and I went ahead and I used Versamark, stamped them, put gold embossing powder, and then I colored in with Highland Heather blend. That's how I did these. Okay, so these I'm going to pop up, and again, that's why I said once I start bringing in where I'm popping up, I want this to actually already be on the card base. Okay, so we're just going to put like a couple on each of these. That's kind of all they need. Now, if you don't like the white border that you get when you cut these out, you can fussy cut them. And I had a sample here. But you guys know how much I love cutting. Oh, I don't know what happened to it. It's gone now. But I did fussy cut it, and I was able to get it like where you couldn't see any white. It was just the gold. But I don't mind the white, so I'd rather use the die cut because you guys know me. Easy button, right? If I can use an easy button, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm just taking the top paper off these dimensionals. And again, guys, I will, the PDFs, if you place a $35 order from me this month, you'll get the PDFs for all of these along with the sketches. All right, so we're going to put one here. One here. And one there. All right, so I still have a piece left, right? I have this piece. Now, do I need to follow this exactly? No, but the only reason I'm doing it tonight is I really wanted to show you guys how you can transform these sketches. So again, I just have this little piece that was cut 1 1/4 by 2, and I did the gold again, heat embossed, and this is just going to sit right up here in that, right where this is. So can you guys see how this would actually help you if you are struggling with trying to come up with a design, how a sketch can just like really get your brain thinking and help you to start getting out of that that funk when you can't design. That's why I love sketches. I'm a scrapbooker as well, and I use them in scrapbooking as well to help me design pages. Okay, so for the inside, I just did the pebbled path, and oh, sorry. Again, everything is embossed. And I've got this down here, and I didn't want to color that one in this time. I just wanted to leave it blank, but you can color it in. If you use blends and you do color in over embossed, you'll want to use like a blue cloth like this. Once you color over the top of it, I'll show you. I mean, I'm not coloring this, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is one of those microfiber cloths. And so if I would have colored that in, I don't want it to stay on the gold. So I just basically dab this on there, and it picks up anything that's stuck to the gold. It'll pick that right up. All right. So here we go. And this is going right here. And look, guys, does it look like it? What do you think? Sketches, right? They are so amazing. I absolutely love sketches. So I'm just going to bring all the cards back in. Again, these are in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. This is number 13. This was the second card I did. It's number 21. And this one is number 5. Stampin' Up! Does not have the measurements. I did this on Canva so I could figure out what the measurements were. And so that's why I know the measurements on these. But again, if you want the PDFs and you place a $35 order with me, you will get these in the PDF with the measurements. All right, so let's look at all the ones we did. Let's turn that over because I don't want to see that mark. So there's 1, 2, 3. Do we like sketches? I hope you guys do. And did you see how easy it was? I mean, it really took, like, I didn't have to really think about anything. I just had to see kind of the shapes, kind of the sizes, and I was able to grab designer series paper and stamp sets, and I was able to put this all together. So again, I'm going to put up the 2 bundles that I used. The Lovely and Sweet bundle is carrying over to the new catalog, but it won't be a bundle in the new catalog. You'll have to buy the stamp set and the dies separate. And then the Notes of Nature is mainly the one I used on this last card, and it's the one that is retiring. So it's no longer going to be available. All right, guys, look at that. 43 minutes, 3 cards done using sketches. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Anyway, guys, I hope I was able to teach you guys something. I hope I was able to inspire you. Again, if you guys want to join my team, there's a great special coming out in May. But, also, stay on my site here because, like I said, tomorrow I am going to put a post up that has a bunch of different places that you guys can go to get free sketches. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, some have measurements, some don't. And you're just going to have to kind of look at the pictures and figure it out. But yeah, reach out to me, guys, and send me pictures. Here, I'm going to give you my email. If you guys use a sketch in the next month, send it to me in an email, and hopefully you'll let me post it to this business page because I want to show everybody what is possible with sketches. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to get rid of stuff. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. I will be back on next Wednesday with a whole new theme of what I'm working on. But for those of you that are coming to retreat, I am going to have all of my sketches there. So we're having a retreat May 4th. And if you're coming to that and you're bringing your own stuff, I am going to have a ton of sketches, and I'll be there to help you if you're not quite understanding, because not all the sketches have measurements, but I will be there to help you out. So for those of you coming to the retreat, let's do some sketches while we're there. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. And I will talk to you guys next week. And thanks everybody for being here. I so appreciate your time. Bye.